Hey everyone, welcome back. Good to have you here. My name is Ranita and I'm getting into neutrals. So if you want to go check out the Cooltrals review, then be sure to go, to the link. It's going to be up here. I've done 4 looks and I have a 5th one on the way. But today we're going to be getting into this palette over here. And I do have some product shots. I've got some swatches for you. And of course, we're going to test out every single shade in the palette so that you know what you're getting if you decide to pick this palette up, and I'm going to give you my honest review as well. So I'm going to let you look at all of the other things, and then we're going to get into the tutorials. And if you like the video, I'd appreciate if you could hit that subscribe button and join the Colourful family. So yeah, let's get into everything. The shimmers look really, really beautiful, so I'm excited to see how they're going to perform. I'm going to be doing one look on each eye. So I'm going to start with, I think, the shade Delicate, which is that shade over there. It's like a cool toned brown, and I'm going to start by getting some of that onto my eyes. So, yeah. We're just going to get it right here at the end and maybe blend it out. I'm going to take that a bit up above my crease. So I know for like Cooltrals, if you saw that video, I kind of just went 5, I kind of just did like row by row by row by row. Kind of want to do something different with this one and just mix and match and see how that goes, but I will try and, just use up every single shade. So I'm going to go in for, I think, the bottom row here. Actually, I kind of like the placement of these shades, so I think I'll just go for all 5 for this eye over here, but this one I may just play it up a bit. Okay, so I'm going in with the shade Timeless here. It's a black shade, so that's that one there. Then I'm going to go in with that and then that. So let's just mix and match here. See how nice this is. I feel like there's a few shades here that are very repetitive, because if you look at the Cooltrals palette, that also has a black in there, and here I'm coming in to another black shade. And honestly, these shades, when you blend them out, a lot of them end up just looking the same. So I'm actually wondering why so many of the same kinds of colors were put in here. Like, I can understand in Cooltrals, like if you're just buying one palette and then you get, like certain shades, that's fine. But if you're picking up both, you're gonna probably see a little bit of like repetition happening there, because I was quite surprised. It didn't hit me when I was initially looking at these colors, and now I'm like, yeah, there is like, repetitive shades. So let's go in now for Lust, which is that pretty purple shade here. I'm going to use my mirror because it just makes it a bit easier. I'm going to put that over here. So you can see that this is a purple shade, and you can see how that shows up for me on my eye. I'm going in with the shade Rumor, which is kind of like that. Also from the same row. And I'm just going to stamp her here to kind of make my eyes feel a bit more big, because usually if I bring my colors in, then I think I take away from that. I think I'm gonna go in with that yellow and maybe like one of the shades from like here. Let's see what I go in for, because Icon looks pretty. Looks like a nice mustard yellow. So I'll get some of that and just put that here. And I like how pigmented that is. It's very pretty. Okay, I'm gonna blend it out, I think, with the color Tease. So that's Tease right here. It's kind of like a greenish kind of brown, but it looks interesting. So let's see how that goes. Just putting a little bit of that there on top of my eyes. I have base on this eye. We're gonna go in with 2 shimmers here. So I'm going to go in, I think, with Glitz, because I think Glitz kind of just goes very well with that color. So I'm gonna do Glitz, and I think I will grab something from maybe this row, like maybe that one over there. Yeah. So I'll do Glamorous and Glitz. So that'll be Glamorous and Glitz. So I'm gonna do Glamorous first, which is a very, very smooth, you know, shimmer you can see here. I'm gonna put that here in the inner corners. You can see how pretty that color is. So this is pretty smooth, so I'm liking the overall formula of this. I do like that. That looks quite nice. Okay, and now of course for Glitz, which is so pretty. I love this shade. Just look, oh, it's so beautiful. I love that shade. I need this on my eyes. I'm actually wondering, oh, okay. Yeah, this is very, very pretty, and it's blending really well with the first shimmer, so I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so here it's pretty obvious. We've got Tender and Velvet, so we're gonna be going in, I think, first with this pink. Love that pink, and then we're gonna go in with Velvet. So this is what both the shades are looking like. They look very kind of like duller tones to me, so I just hope they show up nicely for me on my eyes. Oh, okay, this is actually showing up pretty well. Oh, that's very pretty actually. You can see that. I like that. And we have this purple over here, which I'm gonna just stamp that here into the center of my eye. And you can see that blend. Oh, it's such a beautiful blend. I like that row very much, and I like the way that that worked. Hey everyone, so this is looks 1 and 2. Now let me just give you the makeup details and then we'll jump into everything. So I did go in with my Yensa under eye corrector today, so it's just a little bit under the eyes, a little, very, very little bit of my Yensa foundation here. I don't really like putting this everywhere anymore, and I think I've mentioned this multiple times that I just don't like covering all of my skin in product anymore. I would much rather wear skincare, so it's just a little, like just the tiniest bit. Now for my mouth, I went in with the Yensa Super 8 Vibrant Silk lipstick, which I absolutely love. Just look at that color. It is so smooth. Like honestly, if you haven't tried Yensa's lipsticks, go and try them. You will love them. They are so smooth and moisturizing and so luxurious. I felt like I was putting like silk across my mouth. It was so nice. And I also went in with a little bit, just a tiny bit on some problem areas with my Bare Minerals Bare Pro Foundation Powder. It's supposed to last for 16 hours, and this is the shade Medium 35 Neutral. I did just put a little bit because I've got like 2 breakouts here, so I just used a little bit on that. But other than that, it's not anywhere else on my face. Now let me give you the breakdown. So, you know, honestly, just looking at these shades in itself, it kind of feels like I've got night and day on my eyes here. Like, it's kind of fascinating how I can get 2 such very, very different moods from just one palette. I mean, I don't hate the looks. I think they're nice. You know, I added in eyeliners, which I forgot to mention in the makeup details, but I did use 4. Let me just quickly tell you that, and I'll get back to my commentary. But I did use bath water here. This is Give Beauty. This is a Revlon eye pencil. It's a very old one. It's only available in India, and I think it's in the shade Plum, but it's basically under the one stroke defining eyeliner series, which is excellent. So if you ever get your hands on those, you'll really love them. I went in with Morphe as well, right over here underneath my eyes, and then dark green on top. This is a Temu liner, which is only 72 cents. So anyway, yeah, that's basically that. So this has the same kind of formula as Cooltrals in my opinion, because I'm just looking at my eyes, not seeing any creasing, like none whatsoever. So I do like the fact that, you know, it's so smooth and so beautiful. Something that is standing out to me though is that I'm just getting a little worried as we go into looks 3 and 4, because we finished 10 shades here, okay? Like I did do 10 shades, so I'm like, okay, fine, that's done. But I'm just a little bit concerned as we move into the next colors and everything, mostly because I kind of feel like there are way too many browns Can you see that? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then even this, I'm just kind of trying to figure out here whether that's actually going to look very repetitive on my skin tone. So I'm hoping that that's not the case, but right now it kind of is looking like that may be the case. So that was something that I noticed when I got the palette in my hands. When I was looking at it, you know, on Instagram and looking at the swatches and looking what other people had created, I didn't really see it as much. But then when I actually was looking at it, I was like, this is just a lot of different browns. And the other thing for me is you can see over here, right, that this is black blended out with Lust, which is kind of like a deeper purple over here. And they look beautiful in the palette, but in all honesty, can you really see, I mean, you can see Lust has been blended out there, so you're getting like a little bit of a different color coming through. But I kind of feel like if I just added like a deep brown or something, I probably could have gotten something similar over there. So it's kind of just making me go, did I really need another black? And I'm saying that because Cooltrals, this is Cooltrals over here in my hand, and this is the Nudetrals, and you can see there's 2 blacks in Cooltrals here, and then there's a black here. It's gonna look the same, you know, when you blend it out. And now I'm trying to look at those purples, and I'm wondering if even those are similar, because you can kind of see like purpley tones in this Cooltrals thing, which I'm pretty sure if I blend out, I'm going to start getting similar tones showing up on my eyes as well. So it's kind of starting to feel a little bit repetitive, and it's a bit disappointing actually. Because especially if I put these together like this, you can see like these. So you can see the purple tones in Cooltrals here, and then you have the purple tones here. But somehow the shades are starting to kind of look like they overlap. I'm not talking about arm swatches. I'm talking about eye swatches. Because if you're telling me, hey, they look different on the arms, they're different shades, I'll be like, okay. But when I blend these out, I may actually end up getting very, very similar results, you know, blending them out. So I think that if you put one deep tone in there, sometimes it's more than enough. All these in-between shades can become very repetitive. So, okay, so you know, that's basically how I feel right now about the palette. Let's continue, because we have 10 more shades to test out, and then I'll give you my thoughts on everything. And of course, there's going to be a 5th look as a collab, which I'm doing with a friend. So you can stay tuned for that. That'll be out next week. But yeah, for this week, I just wanted to give you an idea of Nudetrals and Cooltrals together. Welcome back. So now we're going to go in with the last 10 shades. So just to remind you, we have this one and this one that we haven't used. On this row over here, I've already used these 2. So it's just going to be 1, 2, and 3. And then we have the whole top row. I think that what I'm going to do here is I'm going to mix a little bit of the top row with this, and kind of try and get some different color combinations in here, just to kind of, you know, spice things up a little bit. So I'm going to go in with the 2 darkest shades first that I can see for the ends of my eyes, because that's just how I like to do my makeup. So that's going to be Classy over here, and that brown over there, which is Neutral. So I'm going to first go in with Classy on one side. So let's just do that. Just going to tap that here and take it above my crease. And I have gone in with my base. I always go in with my base before I do my makeup. Okay, I'm going in next with that brown shade over there. So that's going to be that Neutral right here onto my eyes here. And let's see how this goes, because this looks more like a skin tone kind of brown for me. Yeah, you can see, right? It looks like my skin tone. Just gonna kind of come in, get a bit more of that color on there. All right, so now I want to kind of get more of that green feel onto one side at least. So I'm going to go in with Gentle. I think I'm going to take Gentle and I'm going to do it on this side here. So I'm going to add that green right here. And I like the fact that it's coming through pretty well. I just have to make sure that it blends with the other one, the brown shade. So I'm just going to grab a bit of touch, and we're going to just add a little bit over here on this side. Yeah, even that kind of seems to be like a more gray kind of toned shade. Okay, so we've gone in with that. Now I need to finish up using 2 more shades. That'll be Chic over here and there. I think that Chic would probably look pretty nice with that green, because I want to put that satin with Luxe. So I'm going to take Chic and we're going to put that right over here. Like right here. And I actually don't think that this is going to show up for me, because I tried the, yeah, you can see, right? It's looking like a white in the corner of my eyes. I already tried the baby pink shade in the Cooltrals palette, and it showed up as a white for me there. So when I saw the shade here, I was like, yeah, it's probably going to do the same thing. You can see how it's looking. It's looking almost like a interesting grayish beige thing on my eyes. Like, that's all I can say about that. And the last shade that I have here is Bare. That's the last matte shade, and then we're going to go in with the shimmers. But yeah, I'm going to put that here also in the inner corners and just take that up a bit. I kind of feel like that one suits me a little bit more than Chic does, because I feel like with Chic it's just kind of looking, I feel like it's kind of washing me out a bit. Okay, so I put the base on both of my eyes, so I'm just going to go straight in with Satin and Luxe. So we're going to do Satin on this side over here, because this is where I put the green and the pink. So we're going to just get some of Satin on here. So as you can see, Satin kind of looks like a skin toned kind of pinky shade. It's not super pink, it's just more it's more neutral. Luxe seems to be like a shifty kind of shade with gold and pink and green, so I really am interested to see how that's gonna work. I'm gonna get some of that here, so I'm just gonna add, you know, more of that here. Seems to be looking okay. We're gonna go in next with the shade Radiant, because I've already got the base on both of my eyes, so I do need to work a little bit quickly here. So this is Radiant. It's got that white thing going on, and I'm just gonna put a little bit here. This is very pretty. Kind of reminds me in some ways of the Odin's Eye makeup that I own. I kind of feel like this is what was in the Hella palette, but I think it's a lot smoother and it's a lot more intense. But I do like that shade. I like the fact that I'm able to see gold when I just shift my head like that, so I do like that. And last but not least, we have Desire. So this is Desire. It's a, you know, very fiery kind of shade, and I wanted to get both of these on my lid. So I feel like these two shades may have just saved the day. They're just very, very intense and very pretty, which I like. This has like a peachy green kind of thing going on there. And here I'm kind of seeing yellows, oranges. This is a very beautiful shade, actually. I like these two shades probably the best out of everything that I've tried in this palette, because the shifts are just very, 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 very powerful and very strong, I think. Hello everyone, this is looks 3 and 4 completed. Now I will give you the makeup details, and then we're going to break down the palette. Let me give you all my thoughts on it. So for my lips, I've gone in with Salem Cosmetics. It's a lip liner in the shade Vampire. You can see that darker brown over there, that is Vampire. And for my red over there, kind of, it's Brown Rose by Odin's Eye Cosmetics. It's a very pretty lipstick, and I do like that one. I'm just gonna put that back. Okay, now for my eyeliners, I went in with two, because I kind of get, you know, eyeliners from Ipsy and stuff. So I have this by Queen Cosmetics, which is a black one. It's not super dark, so I went in and I darkened it with this Reina Rebelde eyeliner. This is a Rebel Eye Definer pencil, and it's basically black, but I don't know if it has a name or what, but yeah, you can see it's a black eye pencil here. I haven't really used these two very much, so I thought, okay, may as well just do this. And then for my foundation, I actually decided to go in for Bare Minerals Bare Pro in the shade Medium 35 Neutral, and I just used that to touch up a few areas. Again, not really using too much, because I don't really want to make it a habit to use too much foundation on my skin, because it does give me more breakouts and it's causing more wrinkles and all of that. So I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of trying to just get away from makeup in that sense as much as possible. For my brows, I went in with the Ulac Brow Kit, which I absolutely love. If you want to go pick things up, I'll put my codes on the screen for you. Forgot to tell you that Bare Minerals also, I do have a code, so if you ever want to get anything from Bare Minerals, you can use my code and you can get 15% off. And that's basically that. You know, the lashes swatches are from Temu. They're very old ones, which I've had for quite some time. So let's break down the palette now. We've gone through every single shade in here, and I feel like I'm ready to give you my thoughts on everything. I've been thinking about it. So let me start with the formula. First off, the formula is great. It's very much like the Cooltrals one, works beautifully and everything. You're not going to have problems like, you know, getting that color onto your lids. If, you know, you are someone who's searching for pigmented looks, yeah, this palette definitely delivers in that sense. So I'm very happy with that. Now the shimmers are very smooth. You can probably see my eyes here, how smooth this is. And I do like the fact that these are very, very shifty shades as well. I kind of feel like the Nudetrals palette has more shifty shades than Cooltrals, because when I was doing Cooltrals, I was like, okay, like these are pretty shimmers, they're nice shimmers, but I'm not getting as much of the shiftiness. So if you picked up both, you're probably going to notice this as well. I really am amazed by the shimmer quality. I love it. It's very smooth, and I was very impressed actually, especially by these two looks. I really like the grungy green thing that I have going on here. It's so pretty, and I don't think I've done a look like that in a long time. So I'm actually very happy about this one. And over here on this side, it's such a fiery, beautiful color, like such a lovely combination actually. I think the last time I saw a white shade that gave such beautiful color coming through was from the Onsai Hela palette. I remember that because I remember thinking what a unique and beautiful shade that was from Onsai, and I really loved it and enjoyed it. So when I tried this one, I had that in mind as well, and I thought, oh, okay, you know, like this is it's fun and I like it, because if I like that one, of course I'm gonna like this one. And of course, you know, this shade here, which is Desire is beautiful. It's got a very strong and very smooth shift, which I really like. Even when I'm just turning my eyes like this, you can see it's going to like greens and golds and everything. It's a very I like that very much. I think that's one of my favorite shades from the palette. So I think that here the shifty shades here are far more exciting to me than the Cooltrals palette, because, you know, like I did do Cooltrals and I just felt like a lot of those were just general normal shimmers. Nothing wrong with that, because some people only want shimmers. It really comes down to preference at the end of the day. Now I think that my main issue with the Nudetrals palette here is that there were just too many shades that I felt were looking very similar, and I didn't really need them. So I think one of those shades is probably, you know, here, Chic over here, Bare over there. I just didn't really see a point for my skin tone, because it just comes across as very repetitive, and I feel like I can just blend out a darker shade and I'm going to get, you know, some gradient of color coming through. I didn't mind the deeper shades in the palette, but I did feel like those fairer ones were kind of redundant for me personally. Then you have Touch over here, which is, yeah, I felt the same way. Even Rumor over here, not like super like it just wasn't enough, I think, for me. Like I think that if there was just one shade, like if there was just Rumor here, I would have been happy with that. Like maybe they could have changed Chic to something else. And I noticed this in the Cooltrals palette as well. There was that baby pink shade in there, and I was, you know, like applying that to my eyes, and it comes out as white. So there are quite a few shades in here that if you're not using a white base, you're going to get a very different color from what you're seeing in the palette. Now, if you're using a white base, you're obviously not going to be having this issue, or if you have lighter skin, I think it may show up differently for you. But if on my skin tone, it kind of comes across as redundant, because it just looks very washed out, or it comes out as white. It doesn't show up the way that it looks like in the pan. So I kind of feel like I could have, like, I didn't need this shade. I don't feel like I needed that shade either. I was happy with like all the darker tones in here. And you know, the other thing is here, that black, like I said in the beginning, in Cooltrals, you're getting these two black shades. And you know, over here, there's another black shade. So to me, I'm kind of like, why am I getting so many blacks in here? Why am I getting so many browns, like deep toned browns? And it kind of feels like the shades are being repeated, you know, in a sense, because swatches on the arm are great, but what it looks like on your eye can be very similar. So that's the only issue that I really had here looking at this and Cooltrals. If you're gonna get this as a standalone palette, I kind of feel like that would be great. In fact, if I had to choose between Nudetrals and Cooltrals, I think that I would actually rather go with Nudetrals, because I feel like the shiftiness of the shades here are far more exciting to me, and I always go for shades like that. I prefer the duochromes. I prefer the, you know, shades that are going to give me a little bit more excitement than a normal shimmer. So if you are someone who enjoys shimmers more, then I would say, hey, pick up, you know, Cooltrals more than, you know, Nudetrals. Obviously, that's if you're only able to buy one. So that was, you know, just how I ended up feeling about the palette, but I do like the formula. I think that, you know, both palettes delivered in terms of smoothness. I think that the formula is excellent, and I said that in my Cooltrals video as well. You can go and check it out if you want to see me use every single shade, you know, in that palette as well, because I made it a point to do that. And when I was using that palette, you know, I had mentioned certain things about it that, you know, were also kind of like issues for me in that palette, but they weren't necessarily deal breakers because I ended up loving the formula so much. So I kind of feel in a similar way about neutrals, but I think I feel stronger for neutrals because of the way that the shades have actually worked, because of how smooth they are, how beautiful they are, the shiftiness of them. I feel like you can create some really magical looks, you know, in this palette, and I really like that. So let's talk about the color story here. So I kind of feel like this color story would kind of work really well in summer as well as in fall. I kind of feel like this is a very fall color story. So it's interesting that it's coming out in summer when I can totally see myself diving into this in, you know, fall because of all the beautiful tones in here that definitely remind me of fall. You can see even my eyes right now, like the way that they look, this is so fall, like it's so pretty. I like the fact that we can probably create a lot more looks with this one as well. I actually feel a lot more inspired with neutrals than I felt by Cooltrals. Like Cooltrals was like, yeah, it's pretty, it's nice. This one actually has me a lot more excited because of the shifty shades, and just like I'm just trying to think of all the different color combinations I can do over here. I really like the fact that it's going from these neutrals to like yellows, and then you got some mauves and purples and greens, like grungy greens. So I like all of that, obviously. So I think that this color story was actually very beautiful, and I actually really enjoyed using the palette. The first two looks were like, okay, like, you know, we're on a journey here, we're getting somewhere. And then I think when I ended up with these shades here, and I kind of mixed up the rows and everything, right? Because normally I go row by row, and I just wanted to have a little bit more fun with it. So I think when I mixed it up, I actually ended up enjoying it a bit more. So I actually do like the color story very much, and I think that this is a very beautiful palette. I'm definitely interested in trying more things by Cosmic Brushes here because I like the way that this has worked a lot. But I do think that if you buy both Cooltrals and Neutrals, you're probably going to be like, you know, there are repetitive shades in here because it's just the way that it is. So just keep all of these things in mind. They're not really like, I'm not really saying like, hey, this is a terrible palette. I don't think they're terrible at all. Like I said, I really did enjoy the color stories and everything, but these were just some things that I noticed. I think that I could have done with a couple less shades. So I think if this was even 15 shades and they had just kept all of the shimmers, given me a little less mattes, I would have been perfectly happy with that. The one thing that I really liked about neutrals was also just the fact that the palette is a fun take on neutrals to me, because it's not just browns, it's not just your standard golds and, you know, just standard like silvers and all that kind of stuff. I like the fact that they incorporated a bit of color in here because I'm someone who doesn't really always want to wear like ultra neutral tones. I do like them, don't get me wrong. Like I've actually built my liking for them. Like usually it was never neutral for me. I would be like, no, give me as much color as possible. Lately I've been appreciating neutrals more and more. So when I got into this, I knew, yeah, there's definitely going to be like some shades in here that are going to remind me of like normal neutral palettes that I've had. The one thing that stood out to me though is the formula, hands down excellent formula. But I also just liked the fact that the color story was different in a sense, where they were giving you those neutrals and they were giving you the colors as well. Okay, so that's basically all I have for you with, you know, Cooltrals, Nudetrals. Yeah, you can let me know what you think of these colors and these palettes. I'm generally quite happy with this. I think it's very pretty, and I had a lot of fun using, you know, the last 10 shades in this palette. I think I found that more fun than the first two looks, but I do want to kind of mix it up and have some fun when I do the collaboration with my friends. So stay tuned for that 5th look, and that's going to be coming out on Monday next week. So I'll have 2 looks for you, one from Neutrals and one from Cooltrals, and that will be on the channel. So I'm excited to do that with my friend because, you know, it's been a while since I did a collaboration, and I've been looking for someone to do a collaboration with for a while now, and I finally found someone who wants to do it with me. So I'm really looking forward to that. So anyway, I will see you for that, and I'll see you for some other reviews that I'm going to be doing this week. I actually have a lot that I'm going to be doing this week, so I'm going to try and get everything up as fast as I can. But thank you for joining me for this particular review. Hope it was helpful. If you need more help, please let me know, reach out, say hi, and be like, you know, hey, you know, I need more help, and I'll be like, okay, how can I help you? So anyway, thanks for joining me. I hope you have the most wonderful week, and sending you lots of love and hugs. Bye-bye.